A robbery suspect was shot and killed by LMPD officers last night. It's our top story here at 6:30. I'm Alex Dieterer. LMPD says the initial 911 call was made for a robbery at gunpoint in the South Side neighborhood.
Shots fired. Shots fired. What's your location? Shots fired. What's your location?
Shots fired by LMPD officers at the corner of Southland Boulevard and Southside Drive.
Caller advises she was door dashing and a subject put a gun on her when she was delivering. I don't know if anything was stolen or not.
The caller stated they were robbed at gunpoint by a suspect.
LMPD Deputy Chief Ryan Bates says responding officers were given a description of the subject. Once officers were on scene, LMPD says a suspect matching the description they were given was seen walking down the street near the area of the robbery.
Officers made contact with the suspect, who started to flee while at the same time producing a handgun. Two LMPD officers subsequently discharged their firearms, striking the suspect. The suspect was pronounced deceased on scene by EMS.
Bates says no officers were injured in the shooting and a handgun was recovered at the scene.
Calls for service like this remind us of the dangers officers face every day. I am extremely grateful that no officers or innocent bystanders were injured during this rapidly unfolding situation.
Per LMPD's policy, the names of the officers involved will be released within 72 hours of the shooting, and the body-worn camera footage will be released within 10 business days. About 90% of Louisville nonprofit Shirley's Ways gaming machines had to be shut down on Friday. The nonprofit says this was ordered by the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation due to a theft ring in the state. WHAS11's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Jessica Farley are live now outside of the nonprofit, where they've talked to leaders at Shirley's Way while they work to get answers. Clarice?
Alex, the founder of Shirley's Way, tells me they received an email with that notice around 5 p.m. on Friday and haven't heard from the corporation since. Founder Mike Mulrooney says they had noticed a bug in some of their machines over the week, but that it had been fixed. The memo Shirley's Way received says the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation is aware of multiple instances of illegal fishing that's impacted electric charitable gaming devices. The document says due to the manufacturers and charitable gaming organizations' inability to prevent the theft, they've called for the close of some of the machines. Mulrooney tells me this has caused them to cancel some community outreach because of the loss of revenue.
It was very difficult to send an email yesterday to all these schools that we had hopefully it's temporary, but we had to end the feeding program right before the holidays.
These closures are impacting about 3,500 kids they feed in the area. Mulrooney says they're hoping on getting some answers soon with a meeting scheduled with the corporation tomorrow, and he says they'd like to know how long it will last and if it will cause a change in their operations. We have reached out to the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation as well. Live off Dixie Highway, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 on your side.
All right, thank you, Clarice. A Jeffersonville restaurant showed its gratitude today for U.S. service members and their families by giving away free Thanksgiving meals to those who answered the call of duty. This is Harry's Tap House and Kitchen's 5th year donating 1,000 meals to local charities during the Thanksgiving season. During today's Vets Giving lunch at the Indiana National Guard base in New Albany, Harry's stepped in to serve signature holiday dishes for around 100 veterans and their families. John Engel with VA Rep says that today was just one of the many where the Southern Indiana community came together to help service members in need.
Mainly, there's always a need. One of the most beautiful things about this area, about our community, is every time I've ever asked for help, I've received it in droves. Money, time, it's amazing the appreciation that veterans get in this community, and it's awesome.
Harry's Tap House and Kitchen says they've donated over 8,000 meals to local charities and nonprofits such as Catalyst Mission, New Hope, and the Genesis House. And the gratitude for veterans and their service continued with Operation Homefront at Churchill Downs today. 50 military families enjoyed a day at the Churchill Downs racetrack and also received free Thanksgiving meal kits and grocery gift cards through Operation Homefront's Holiday Meals for Military program. The program is in partnership with companies like Kroger and Coca-Cola, who say they're grateful to serve those who served their country.
I hope this serves as a physical, emotional, and spiritual blessing to the families, and we're grateful to have such great partners as Operation Homefront, Kroger, and Churchill Downs to bring some joy to the military families and to serve those who serve us. We're grateful to be able to do that.
Operation Homefront says they've served over 12,000 military families across dozens of events nationwide through the Holiday Meals for Military program. Well, right now, Zachary Taylor National Cemetery is experiencing a wreath shortage, with about a quarter of the headstones at risk of not having a wreath for the holiday season. Just over 9,000 wreaths have been donated for the 11,400 graves at the cemetery. The order deadline is midnight Thanksgiving Day. That is less than a week away. The wreath placing ceremony is taking place December 13th. And for more information on how to donate, you can go to louisvillehonor.com. COSAIR for Kids hosted their 11th annual pie auction today, and all of the money they raised, brought in goes towards helping kids in need. Dozens of desserts from renowned Louisville chefs were up for grabs at this year's auction. Money from bidders will help with health care bills, medical equipment, and assorted treatments that otherwise wouldn't be available to these struggling families. People at the event today got to hear the story of COSAIR kid Elliot, who was born with spina bifida. Elliot's family received support from COSAIR for Kids, letting them focus on their son without having to worry about hospital bills. Elliot's mother spoke today on what this support means to her.
I always come back to the word help. I always come back to that these people are helping my son develop. They're helping build a foundation for him. They're helping give him a light that maybe he wasn't going to be able to have. That's what it means to me.
While the total amount of money raised hasn't yet been confirmed, organizers do say they believe the auction brought in over $100,000 for COSAIR for Kids.